Hey guys, Icon here from Voclia Music. In this video, we're going to look at 10 tips for getting started with Doubler 2. We chose many of these based on common questions from producers in our community, and we hope they're helpful whether you just installed Doubler or whether you've been using the software for a long time. Let's dive right in. We get lots of people asking us why Doubler 2 isn't appearing as a plugin in their DAW, or if there's a plugin alternative version to the standalone software. The short answer is that it's not a plugin. Once you download the software from your Voclia account and install it, you'll get the standalone app. With the app open, your DAW sees Doubler 2 as a MIDI controller, and it should appear in the MIDI devices section in your preferences, like any common USB MIDI keyboard, for example. If you're having trouble setting up, hearing latency, or experiencing any other technical issues, be sure to use our troubleshooting page on our website www.voclia.com. There are lots of useful resources such as how to set up with the most common DAWs, videos and articles exploring Doubler 2's features, guides to calibrating your microphones with or without audio interfaces on both Mac and Windows, and solutions to other issues such as latency. If you're unable to solve an issue you're experiencing, our support team are very quick to respond and can be reached at help@voclia.co.uk. You can also create a new support ticket from within your Voclia account online by clicking support and filling in the required fields. A common misunderstanding or expectation that people have with Doubler 2 is that you'll pick up your microphone, make a flurry of random sounds, and get a perfectly flawless MIDI melody. But like any instrument, it takes practice, and there are some techniques you can apply that will really improve your pitch accuracy. The first thing to do is to use percussive sounds at the beginning of notes, for example singing with da 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 as opposed to ah ah ah. This helps to separate each individual note, making the note start more obvious to Doubler. If I sing without percussive sounds, it's much harder for the software to understand when I'm changing notes. Find the syllables that work for you and sing clearly and confidently for the best results. If you're finding that the notes are jumping around a lot as you sing, you can try dialing down the input sensitivity and turning up the stickiness. A higher stickiness value makes it harder to switch from note to note. Most of us don't have perfect pitch, so when we sing a note out loud, it will never be perfectly correct. Something that can really help with this is singing over music. This could be a pad, a chord progression, or even one long sustained note. The musical context, paired with Doubler's pitch correction, will help you stay in key even if you're not an experienced singer. Let's demonstrate by singing an idea over a chord progression. Having an idea in your head before singing it out loud will help even more with this technique. If you want to record parts with busier melodies, it's a good idea to slow down your BPM, record, and then speed everything back up. Here's an example. The envelope of the instrument, synth, or sound you're going to use while performing with Doubler is crucial in your ability to perform it. For example, if you're going to sing a lot of consecutive notes, it's not a good idea to have a pad sound where the note is slowly rising with a slow attack. Release is another key envelope parameter because a high release means that the notes take longer to fade out, and this will lead to your notes overlapping. When you find sounds in your DAW that match your style of singing, you'll have much better results with pitch. A lot of people think that it can be counterintuitive to restrict yourself to a scale while performing in doubler. This is why a lot of people choose to use chromatic mode. However, it can be difficult to sing with all notes available, and using scales can really improve your pitch accuracy. The scales also have the benefit of working with presets in the chords tab. If you're not sure which scale you want to work in, you can sing notes in the key tab and you'll get a list of suggested scales. You can click the scale to hear it and then click update to commit to it. Until now, we've been looking at the pitch side of doubler, but let's switch over to the triggers. Firstly, consistency is important, so repeat the same exact sound or syllable while training triggers. If you think you'll have trouble remembering your triggers after training multiple, be sure to make note of them. Worst case, you can erase your takes and retrain. Another key point is clearly differentiating your triggers. If your triggers are too similar or have similar qualities, it will give doubler a harder time in differentiating them, and this will affect your performance. Over time and with some practice, you'll develop your own drum kit of sounds. For example, I usually use ba, cha, ka, ts, and a snap. That gives me 5 triggers that are separate enough from each other so that I can use them effectively. After you calibrate your microphone, or when you open Doubler 2, you'll see the Profiles page. Profiles allow you to save sessions, including train triggers, key settings, pitch bend settings, chord configurations, MIDI mapping settings, and more. This can speed up your workflow as you won't have to retrain triggers. You can have different profiles for different songs, for example during a live performance, and you can save the settings that work best with your voice so you don't have to change them all the time. To save time, you can duplicate your profiles with the duplicate button and make any changes to the new profile without erasing your settings in the original. Pitch bend response modes are one of our favorite new features in Doubler 2. You can choose between True Bend and IntelliBend in the Assign tab. True Bend responds to your voice's pitch bend exactly, and this can be useful, but it makes it harder to sing because the software responds to every single tone, even those between the 12 chromatic notes. IntelliBend makes it a bit harder to bend from note to note, and the algorithm tries to understand when you're trying to bend upwards or downwards, making for much smoother transitions. Here's an example of a melody sung with True Bend and then IntelliBend. You can immediately tell that singing with true bend requires practice. As a reminder, for pitch bend to work, all you have to do is make sure that the pitch bend range in Doubler 2 matches the pitch bend range in the instrument or synth you're using. The Assign tab can be a bit intimidating because of all of the detailed controls, but it's definitely worth coming to grips with, as it's one of the most powerful tools for expression in Doubler 2. On the right hand side, you have the CC dials that control MIDI mapping. MIDI mapping is used to control parameters live in your DAW and even third-party plugins. Doubler 2 allows you to map vowels and the loudness of your input via the ENV knob to parameters. In this example, we've mapped the ENV to the filter envelope of a bass, so the louder we sing, the more the filter opens. We also mapped the ah vowel to open up the resonance, so we get some more squelchy sounds as we emphasize the ah syllable more. It's really useful to be able to control the responsiveness of the dial via the slider on the left, and you can also control the minimum and maximum values of the parameter you're controlling with the slider on the right. We've dropped a link in the description to another short video that explains these control dials and MIDI mapping in more detail. Be sure to check it out. One more great feature about the Assign tab is separating MIDI channels. For example, if you separate your pitch and chords, you can perform a bass and chords at the same time with different instruments. In the bass channel, I'll set the MIDI channel to 1, so it only gets the exact pitch that I'm singing. I'll set the chords MIDI channel to 2, so it only inputs the chords MIDI. We hope these pointers were helpful, and remember that you can get in touch with our support team at any time, and they can even arrange video chats to help you get up and running. To find out more about Doubler 2, head to voclia.com and be sure to subscribe for more videos. See you next time.